Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Audrey.
And we're the question queens. Oh my gosh, you're so cute.
I don't know if that's the word for
Oh
it.
my gosh, that wasn't question.
Oh, we're doing it.
I didn't sing. Do you miss me singing it? Do you want to hear me sing it? Leave a comment if you want to hear me.
Can we do a poll? Does YouTube have polls?
They have polls on Facebook, but
Oh, well, maybe we'll check it out.
well, anyway. So what's going on with you, Audrey?
How much? What's going on with you?
No, what's your topic? You said you had one more.
Oh, I was going to tell you that I sent you a quote, which I took my glasses off.
Oh,
but I can tell you roughly what it is.
Okay.
William James, he's an old-timey philosopher.
You look really good with your glasses.
You think so?
I mean,
to
without
cover
them
up my face.
No. Look good.
Look, I'm pulling it back up. Is this okay? Can you still see me
I
good?
can't see you doing anything, so you're good.
A great many people think that they are thinking when they are merely rearranging their prejudices.
Ooh. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
And so I think it kind of goes with, some other things that we've talked about.
Yeah.
That sometimes you're just gathering up information that confirms what you already think.
It's true. I think people actually just want to hear that they're right.
Yeah. And I would
want to
say
hear that I'm wrong. I know that I'm weird. I know it. Do you like to hear? You don't like to hear that you're wrong.
I don't mind to hear it. I'd hardly believe it.
Oh.
I mean, I get it. Sometimes people have weird opinions about things.
I just don't take it personal. I want to know if someone says you're wrong, except if it was my sister Michelle, then no, I'm not wrong. She's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the context. If I am trying to defuse the bomb and you say, you're wrong, please say that to me.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm saying I love butter pecan ice cream and you go, that's dumb. Oh, that's not helpful.
That person has
that's not helpful.
Much bigger than, like, how can you even be wrong about that? But yes. I actually like to hear that I'm wrong or someone has a differing opinion or I don't really agree with that. I'm all ears. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I don't mind to have an open discussion about things. But of course, I feel like whoever's watching this video may not, but I hardly ever back myself into a corner.
No, you never do.
When I'm thinking where you're going to be able to say, that's, you're wrong about that.
Well, then let me ask
you. I'm always open to other opinions.
Yes, you are. Let me ask you this. So how do you not just rearrange your prejudices? That's very hard to say, by the way, and I nailed it. Okay. How do you stop, or how are you become aware that that's exactly what you're doing and you're not really thinking, and then how do you stop? I know that's a big question.
I can't promise this for everybody, but I would say me and Van from LFR, what we do is we seek out new information. Mm-hmm. We're seeking out information because.
But don't most people seek out information just to validate their own, though? So,
if that's what you're doing, okay, but you have to test what you think is true against. Oh gosh, Debbie, I can get real deep and go into a real controversial thing right now.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So for instance.
All right.
My gut instinct was I wasn't a fan of gay marriage. But when that became a big thing of debate, I sought out new information. And I considered other perspectives, and I considered what are the facts here and what is my feelings about the facts. And I pushed everything through that grinder. Everything that I thought to be true, I pushed it through that grinder. Out the other side, I decided, for me, gay marriage is absolutely fine. Because what is the government asking when it says, do you want to marry this person? So for me, it's totally separate. A biblical God marriage is totally separate from a government marriage.
I agree with you.
And so for the government marriage, what's the government want to know? The government's not asking, are you having sex? Lots of married people don't have sex, regardless of what gender they are.
Right.
It's not about love. Lots of people are in loveless marriages and always have been, regardless of gender.
Actual.
So what is the government asking when it says, do you want to be married? It's saying, who do you want to determine to pull your plug? Who can we count on you to take care of? Who, when you buy the family pass, who are you bringing to the zoo? You know, that's what they're asking.
That is what they're asking.
If somebody don't pay their taxes on their car, are you going to pay them?
No, taxes is a big thing.
So as far as the government's concerned, it's saying it's better for our society and it's better for the government and the way the government is ran if people run in family units. So pick your tribe, sign them up, and you can put them on your insurance. So once I pushed all that through, and so at the end of that, I also went a step further and thought, I am also for polygamy. I also think that should be legal.
Well, while we're just touching on all the controversial things, I think prostitution should be legal.
I absolutely think prostitution should be
You have the
legal.
right to do with whatever, like if I wanted to cut my toenail clippings and sell those, just like those OnlyFans people that have, like, take pictures of their feet and whatever.
Where's the line?
Whatever it is.
And this may offend some people,
That's fine.
but I think prostitution should be legal because I say, if you think people aren't buying and you think people aren't selling, you have not been out in the world. And it is like, I just read an article the other day about a girl who worked at some place as a waitress, and she saw some TikTok thing about wearing pigtails improves your tips. And she says, it's gross.
You're kidding.
It is gross to think that men will tip you more if you project younger than what you are. She said, but it works like a charm.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, go ahead.
So she is selling an image to improve her tips.
Yeah.
And here's another big controversial thing. And this was actually my son's thoughts, but prostitution should be legal because for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong,
Definitely.
a woman can always have sex.
Yes, a woman always can.
It doesn't matter if you're gross or weird or don't quite have a circle that you fit into. There are circumstances where someone will have sex with you.
Yep.
That is not true for men.
No, it's not.
That's not true for men. And so here is a good for society reason to legalize prostitution.
I would much
that men who it's hard for them to have sex. It's hard for them to make a connection with somebody and close the deal.
Well, do you want to know what my deciding factor was?
Girl, you cut me off at the good part. You want to cut me off right now?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. For some men, it's hard to close the deal. So what they do instead is they sit in the basement and they watch weirder and weirder and weirder porn by themselves. No one touches them. Nobody wants to touch them. And they build up animosity and they build up rage. And so I don't know for a fact.
Bitterness too.
I've done 0 studies.
Right.
But it would make sense to me that some of the violence that happens in our society is pent up sexual aggression. Now, those are uncomfortable questions to ask. I don't know. But
valid.
As a woman who's gone through some dry spells myself, it would just change the game to be able. Now, I think if you were going to run a prostitution thing geared for women as your customers, I picture it like a Chinese restaurant where you have a menu and you go, I want some of this. You don't, because you don't want to say the words.
A little bit of this.
You don't want to say all the words. You say, I want some of this, extra that, none of this, nothing from this section.
Menu, like online dating.
Yes. And then you push you quietly push your menu and your credit card across the counter.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes the pressure off. Every woman I know that's been single at some point has kept a steady that they just have sex with.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you from feeling desperate as you date.
Well, my whole thing was safety. I would
There's a lot
rather, if
there.
I wanted to go out and have sex with somebody, I would much rather go to whatever Guys R Us,
Yep.
where they've all been tested.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's going to cost me. I know what's going to happen. I know I'm not going to get murdered.
Right.
I'm not going to get raped. I'm not bringing some stranger into my house or going to some stranger's house. And that was the big kicker for me. But then also, what about, okay, you're dating some guy, you have sex with him, you give him the best blowjob he's ever had in his life, and afterwards he said, here, honey, here's my credit card. Go shopping and buy you a new wardrobe. Tell me how that's different.
Right. I mean, that's what I said early on, was that there are people buying, there are people selling.
Yes, there are.
So what prostitution does, it allows you to be clear about your price.
Yes.
Because the opposite of that, the opposite of somebody giving you a credit card for a great blowjob, the opposite of that is you buy an expensive meal thinking that there's a certain transaction going to happen at the end of the night, and then you don't get that.
Yes.
And you should not necessarily expect that, but it's reasonable to expect at some point in the relationship, we're going to have sex. Now, I've bought you flowers, I've picked you up, I've got your meal, I have wine and dined you, I'm ready to go to the next level. And then you're like, oh no, I don't really like you like that. Well, that's a conversation I wish we could have had $300 ago. Right?
Hey, I know a girl that did online dating, which, by the way, remind me about this story I was going to tell you about on the news. I know a girl that she did online dating because she had a list of every restaurant in her area and she wanted to go to all of them. So she would,
that's bitchy.
Next guy, she would go out, they would ask her out, she'd pick the next restaurant. That's all her goal was, is to go to all these restaurants. And that's just terrible, but that's reality. But
that's exactly right. That is, and so those guys got screwed in that transaction, not because they were expected to have sex with her, but they were expecting an honest social experience, maybe leading to sex. So she was dishonest about the transaction in the beginning.
Yep.
She did a bait and switch on them.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. There just should be a space where you can clearly say, here's what I want. And that doesn't do away with dating.
No, it doesn't.
You still are going to want companionship. You still are going to want to watch a movie with somebody. Mm-hmm. But it's
safe. It's safer.
It's safe, and it clears up some of the noise.
Expectations, outcome, and price.
And everybody would be better at talking about sex if we were able to, in a safe place, say, I don't really know about this. Is there a beginner's tour for this experience here? You know, and ideally, of course, you would do that with your lover. But maybe your lover don't know neither.
It's true. I don't know. I think, I turned purple. I think it should be an option. I think it should be legal.
That was your mother chiming in most of our conversation.
I didn't say it. Poppy did. All right. Well, I think that's enough for this video. And definitely hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more controversial and
sometimes just funny
tips and fun. I had fun. And hit the like button and share with all your friends. And we'll see you real soon.
There you go.